Are the Phillies closer to being the disaster that the Sixers are this season, or closer to being World Series champions like the Eagles, who were Super Bowl champions? And questioning Rob Thomson, questioning Dave Dombrowski, is not me being a negative fan or a fraud fan. It's just me being realistic about the situation and the information in front of me. We're going to talk about this today. We're also going to talk about the Crossing Broad article, which I kind of really disliked yesterday that came out. Trending in the AM, talking this and anything else you want to talk about. We're live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube and Twitter. You know the drill. Hit those buttons, like, subscribe, share, follow, do whatever you got to do, but most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page, the #1 sports channel in Philadelphia, the only channel where your opinions actually matter because we're setting the trends for what sports talk should be, guys. So please like, subscribe. Starting this show at 476. Can we gain a few subscribers today as the march to 500 subscribers is on? I'd greatly appreciate it. So all those people watching on Twitter right now, please head on over to the YouTube page if you can. Otherwise, get your opinions in. We're talking Phillies today as we get closer to opening day. So make sure you drop those comments about the Phillies, your thoughts and opinions on this upcoming season. And the title of the show is one thing. But there's two different angles, excuse me, that I want to tackle today with this Philadelphia Phillies team. One, are they closer to being the disaster that the Sixers are this year, or are they closer to being a championship team like the Philadelphia Eagles? And I don't think it's as simple as, well, there's no way they're going to be, the disaster that the Sixers are because the Sixers never made a championship game or a conference finals. At least the Phillies have in the few years. I'm just talking about this year. There are a lot of eerily similar things at the start of the season that we should have foreseen with the Sixers team that caused this collapse. There's a lot more similarities now than with the Eagles. There just plain and simply is. Now, this Phillies team this year is super talented. This Phillies team has all-stars all over it. But they just don't have that it factor. They don't have that Jalen Hurts leader. Rob Thomson is nowhere near the type of leader that Nick Sirianni is. Dave Dombrowski is falling and failing compared to Howie Roseman. The Phillies are full of older players, just like the Sixers, that can break down. The Eagles were one of the youngest teams in the NFL. Who's the young superstar on the Phillies that's going to carry them? And saying this in my opening monologue, and this is to target the Crossing Broad Kevin Kincaid article, talking like this does not mean I'm being negative. It just means I'm being realistic, unlike other Phillies fans. I'm going to watch every Phillies game as I do every year. I'm going to stream Phillies games right here on this channel. I'm going to be passionate, pitch after pitch, at bat after at bat, just like I always have. But it doesn't mean that I have to pound my chest and be uber positive because it's a long season, because I want to play all the great hits. Don't worry, it's only June. It's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We can be realistic instead of optimistic. It doesn't have to be considered negative. And I want to quote, we're going to quote a bunch of things from this Kevin Kincaid article multiple times. But there is a line in his article, And it really sticks in my craw because I hate being called, not me personally, but Philadelphia fans in general, and being a negative fans. And his line is, that being said, this post is less about the Phillies and more about the general attitude that continues to be persuasive in Philly sports. We can't help but go negative. I don't think we're being negative. I think we're being realistic. I don't think questioning a team and whether they're prepared to win a World Series is being negative. I think it's being honest. It's seeing the flaws. Seeing the flaws that caused this team to collapse the last 2 years that still exist right now. I hate when people question the people that are questioning the teams and just want to put a label. Aren't we not allowed to label people these days? Aren't we allowed to be what do we want? I hate being labeled a Negadelphian, and that term Negadelphian sticks in my craw so much. Because I'm not negative. Well, I am sometimes, but not on this show. What I am is honest and real to myself and the expectations I put on my sports teams. All right, we got a lot of comments. I know Rick's got a bunch of them in there. Let's get to them. Good morning, little G. Hope you are well this morning. Anthony says Dombrowski has been such a disappointment. Yeah, where's that championship building team guy that we expected with Dave Dombrowski? He has been a disappointment, Anthony. So negative about the Phillies, the same type of negativity was said about the Eagles going in this past season. But it was rightfully so, Rick. The Eagles were coming off of a massive collapse in 23. Okay? 10-1 to 1-6. Okay? Now, I predicted the Eagles to win a Super Bowl, and I was right. I know you're predicting a Phillies World Series, but it's not negativity. It's questioning. It's having some feeling of the hangover of what went wrong last year and was it changed or not. The Eagles at least made changes. The Phillies made no changes. I am not a Negadelphian, not at all. Be careful what you want to speak. I don't want to speak them into losing into existence. All I am doing is questioning. There's a difference between questioning and being negative. I don't think this team is all doom and gloom as people think. Look, there's no such thing. This team is not doom and gloom. This is a great baseball team. This is a baseball team, Big Al, that is going to win 90 to 95 games. I'll take the over 90.5 games like that. It does not mean that they're going to get to the ultimate goal, which is win a World Series. It means that they have a talented team. And over 162 games, the more talented teams win the majority of the games. Realistic sounds, no, see, because you're blinded. You're blinded. I am being realistic. I could say this team can win 95 games and also say this team is not good enough in the same sentence. Questioning Rob Thomson, whether he's the man to get us over the hump or not, does not mean I don't think Rob Thompson's a good manager. He's just not a great manager. Can't we be both realistic and optimistic and negative? We can be it all if you want. Be whatever you want. Phillies have gone backwards 3 straight years, and the GM did nothing at the trade deadline last year. Yeah, I mean, he made moves. They were just minor moves, and they didn't work out last year. Austin Hayes. We're just thinking outside the box that this team, who cares about winning 90, 95 games? I don't. I want to win a Super Bowl. And we did. I want to win a World Series like the Eagles win a Super Bowl. 95 wins in the regular season means jack shit to me. What I want is a team that can compete in a best-of-7 series and win. And they've fallen short 2 straight years. What's up, TMZ? How you doing? Meanwhile, over the past 3 years, our baseball team is top 5 in wins. How much difference, Rick, is being top 5 in regular season wins and falling short of the World Series to being the Marlins and just falling short in the playoffs? Like, is there that much of a difference? The goal is to win a championship, not to win regular season games. That's the goal. Marlins have the same number of World Series. Absolutely. Absolutely. Amazing Sixers loss last night. I really thought they were going to pull that one out. Yeah, right. I didn't watch it. The season needs to end already. Look, I've been calling out. There's 10 games left for the Sixers, Dives. And I've been saying it. I started yesterday. I already posted today. Every day, I'm going to post a short video asking for Josh Harris to call Josh Harris out until he fires Daryl Morey. That's what it is. The Sixers will get the 7th pick. There ain't no doubt about it, Marshawn. Good morning to you, Marshawn. The Phillies aren't going to be able to walk through the NL this year like in years past. The NL East is much better. But see, the thing is, Dives, it doesn't matter about winning the division or not. It just means getting to the playoffs. And the Phillies are going to win 90 to 95 games. Is the team good enough to win? They're built for 162 games. Are they built to win a 7-game series? And the last 2 years has proven no. No. And because I question it, I'm a Negadelphian. When WIP puts out a poll question yesterday that says, is Rob Thomson on the hot seat this year? And they say, well, that's just WIP being negative. No. Rob Thompson's fallen short and fallen behind each year the last 2 years. It's not being negative. It's asking a legit question. What level does Rob Thomson have to reach with his team this year to not be on the hot seat? 95 wins doesn't do it for me. At a minimum, a World Series appearance is necessary. You'd think that after coming off the Super Bowl winning and lots of winning over the last year, this fan base would be more positive. Again, there's a difference between being positive, negative, and realistic. It's not negative vibes, Rick. It doesn't have to be all doom and gloom, but it also doesn't have to be all roses. What it can be is realistic. Baseball season is a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's only June. It's just a realistic expectations. Now, my goal is for this team to reach the World Series. But realistically, they have not proven that they can do that from top to bottom. Why set myself up for disappointment? Oh, this team's going to win 100 games, win the World Series. And they fall short in the NLCS. Well, that's a disappointment then. The Sixers were sacrificed so that the Eagles could win the Super Bowl. Well, who can we sacrifice for the Phillies then? We've already sacrificed the Sixers. Can we sacrifice the Union then? When there was no championship. What about the no championship? What? We should be judging Phillies on postseason success. I agree with you, Phil. 90-95 wins ain't crapping out in the playoffs. Look, we can compare it to the Sixers again. The Sixers, over the last 5 years, not counting this year, have had great regular season runs. They were the number 1 seed in the East a few years ago, right? What did that get them? A second-round exit. And we grade the Sixers constantly, Marshawn. Well, they've never gotten past the second round, so the regular season doesn't matter. But in baseball, because they could win 90-95 games, they're a great team. Now, they haven't, at least the Phillies in the last 3 years have gotten to 1 World Series. Fine. I'll give them that. But in this city with the Eagles and Sixers, we judge them on championships. The Phillies, on the other hand, we have to judge them on regular season wins. And to me, that's just not enough. With that payroll, we should have hoisted at least 1 trophy. Absolutely agree. With the amount of star power on this team, 8 All-Stars last year, we should have hoisted 1 last year. It's not being negative. It's just being factual. This is why the sports god so rarely, it has nothing to do with this, Rick. We're not being miserable. We don't have to jump up and down and do cartwheels for our team every single year if we do not think they are good enough. It's being honest. There's a difference between honesty and miserable, just like there's a difference between being realistic and negative. The sports gods have looked down on us for so long, these championships are from the mud. I'd rather dig my championship out of the mud. It is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, not negativity. I would have fired Topper. I wouldn't have given him the job after 2022, but that's just me. But yes, hard to be positive when the best bullpen shits the bed. or when your batters don't produce. Phil's name and he'll appeal. What? This season didn't even start yet, and no one's burying this team. No one said this team is going to be last place or win 70 games. Everybody is saying this team is going to win a lot of games, but that doesn't mean anything. Okay? I believe in Phil Hendry. Okay, gotcha. Ain't no sunshine in Philly. Ain't no sunshine when he's down. Did someone say regular season win? Exactly. We crushed Doc Rivers for the way he acted around the Sixers. But the Phillies do the same thing, and it's all okay. They hang banners for winning the division. They do, and that's not necessary in my opinion. Positive thoughts equal positive actions equal positive results. On the other hand, if you look for negativity, I'm not looking for negativity. I'm questioning the status quo. That's all it is. We could sacrifice Dan Silly Ho. Silly Ho. I like to say silly man, but I like that. Dan Silly Ho. We're going to call him Dan Silly Ho from now on. Last time I jumped up and down in the offseason, I was gifted with 2024 Sixers. Yeah. Truth. Yes, I know it hasn't started. So what? Should we be overly positive and optimistic that this team is just going to flip a switch? It's not being negative. It's just questioning. You can question your sports franchises. You can. Oh, I know what you meant. Chat, what's up, my man from Philly Press Box Radio? This is a do or die season for the current collection of Phillies. World Series or bust. It has to be World Series or bust right now. Has to be. Meanwhile, Topper's one of the best managers in a long time in Phillies land. What are we really judging it against? Ryan Sandberg, Joe Girardi, Pete Mackanin. It's not like he has a great company of managers to outcoach. It doesn't hurt in baseball that he's got a $4 billion roster. Okay? But where's Rob Thomson? There's a reason Rob Thomson spent 500 years in baseball never getting a head coaching job or a manager job. All right? Because he's a bench coach guy. He's not the top guy. If you fired Rob Thomson right now, he wouldn't be hired like that. He might get another job if he wanted it, but not immediately. Because he's a good manager, not a great manager. Good morning, Joe. How are you doing? If I'm being honest, the Dodgers are a better team than the Phillies, unless a few major injuries happen to them. I don't see a World Series either. I know Rick does, Joe, and it could happen. It really could happen. They are a talented team, but nothing has been shown to me over the last couple of years to prove to me they have that extra it factor to win in crunch time. In the playoffs. They just don't. Starting the season with some negative vibes. I'm very positive. I'm a happy guy. I just don't have to believe that the magic fairy gods are going to sprinkle some dust on the Phillies and they're all of a sudden going to produce in the playoffs. They haven't. Topper's great until he is faced with a tough decision. He hits on them, but lately he's been swinging like he does get lucky a lot. He really does. What's up, Dante? Sorry, Rick. There's no such thing as a sports guy. We are a realistic fan base with high expectations. Look, Dante, this is exactly what I'm saying. Realistic. They have a great regular season team, which is fantastic. But that's not enough for us. The Eagles have set the bar. 2 championship appearances last 3 years. 2 titles in the last 8 years. The Phillies fall short. The Sixers, we crushed the Sixers for falling short the last couple of years. But the Phillies, it's okay. They'll get them next time. Hearing a lot of Debbie Downer vibe. No, you're just egging me on because you know I hate being called negative. I think you know what I'm talking about. Thompson has a proven track record over the last few years, and I defended him. I would love Thompson to take a stance and run with it. The flip-flop nature is good. Yeah, I mean, look, the lineup. We could talk about the lineup. Rob Thomson said we're going to change the lineup. Well, maybe not. Kyle Schwarber probably went to him and said, no, I'm not really comfortable in the 4-hole. I want that leadoff spot. Now here he is backtracking again. Does he even run his own team? Now we're going to get a platoon. in the leadoff spot. That's not a manager that controls his team, that says he wants to do one thing, and then at the last second does another. This team missed the playoffs for a decade before Topper came on board. Then since he's been here, all they do is win regular season games. Nick Sirianni has been to 2 championships in 4 years. Nick Sirianni has hoisted a trophy. Nick Sirianni, all of Eagles Nation, except for me, was calling for his head as recently as week 4 of this year. Week 5, the bye week. All right? Nick Sirianni's got the benefit of the doubt now from me. I will go into next season uber positive, to use your term, not Debbie Downer, because he's proven he could get his team to a championship and win it. What has Rob Thomson proven that he could do outside of win regular season baseball games? Got to take the fan out when covering your team. It's not being negative. It's being objective. Exactly. I'm going to be rooting, cheering, jumping for joy every pitch, living and breathing every inning all year long like I always do. That's the fan in me. But the realist in me is that this team is the same team that fell short last year. And that's it. No, this is not being positive or negative. This is being realistic, Rick. Realistic. I will be negative as long as Nick Castellanos. Well, see, I think you're a little off. I think Nick Castellanos is better than. He's not as great as some people think, but he's not as bad as you think, just so you know. Phil, in your opinion, is the Phillies the best team in their own division? No. The Mets and Braves are probably. I think the Mets, Braves, and Phillies are all very close, actually. Give or take an injury here or there, the ball bouncing one way or another. I think all 3 teams are pretty equally close. Maybe the Mets and Braves are a smidge better than the Phillies, but it's so close. Like, if the Phillies win 93, the Mets can win 94, the Braves can win 92. All 3 teams are going to be between 90 and 95 wins. It's negligible at this point, the difference between the 3 teams, in my opinion. That's how good the Phillies are in the regular season, which is meaningless at this point. Dante, you're a typical. No, we're not negative. We're realist. And that's the problem. Questioning your team is instantly labeled Negadelphian by people like Rick, by people like Kevin Kincaid, which I love Kevin Kincaid. I love you too, Rick. You know I love you. Instantly questioning the norm is labeled negative. And it's frustrating. Extremely frustrating. I'm going to read some more from this article. There was a specific quote. It started off, it may be a few days, but it's time to, the same things are being said about the Phillies, blah, blah, blah. Playing the greatest hits on social media and sports talk. Rob Thomson says, the guy leadoff is a problem, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes on to say, I disagree with the general, this team isn't good enough narrative because Kyle Schwarber leading off wasn't why they lost, or their manager wasn't why they lost. They lost because the entire hitting group chased too many garbage out of their zone picks. Well, isn't it the job of the manager to get their team to stop chasing pitches, stop chasing garbage when the bullpen falls apart? Isn't it the job of the manager to stop that? But no. I mean, please, I would love 24 more subscribers. Sitting at 476 subscribers for 2 days now. All we got to do is hit that like button and that subscribe button and that share button. That's all we got to do. Please. I have a Missouri attitude towards the Phillies. Show me a different movie and maybe I'll watch. Yeah. And you know what? In the regular season, Nooms, they could change. They could change the narrative if they win games in a different style. But you can watch a game and tell if they're playing different baseball than they did last year. Their approach at the plate. But I don't expect their approach at the plate to change. Realist, exactly, Dante. That's all it is. That's all it is realism. We're tired of empty calorie wins. Exactly. The Phillies are closer to the Sixers than they are the Eagles. Okay? I'm sure Rick wasn't entering this season super positive about the Sixers. The Sixers had come off what, 8 straight playoff runs that are short, but it wasn't good enough. So why is it good enough for the Phillies? The Phillies are weird with their fan base. Like, you can't sneeze the wrong way without being labeled negative. Walker is still on this team because the GM gave a terrible contract, and now you're stuck with him starting again. It is insane that this team, dude, the fact that Taijuan Walker's on this team it's hilarious, Anthony. It's hilarious that there's not a better option than Taijuan Walker somewhere in the world. I never said anything. I was the one pounding the table that Nick Sirianni was perfectly fine. But I understood. And if you remember, and some people will back me up. What did I say? When everybody questioned firing Nick Sirianni, I'm like, oh, no, I think Nick Sirianni's got it in him. But I understand the reasons why you're putting that out there. Because I can realistically look at both sides of the coin. I understand where the doubt came from on Nick Sirianni. I didn't agree with it, but I understood it. You're not willing to see why we're concerned about this Phillies team. You're just instantly ready to label anybody that doesn't think they're going to win the World Series a Negadelphian. You sound like you're delusional. Preach. I'm so over the Sixers dominating teams in the regular season. Well, now they're not dominating anybody. They ain't dominating anything anymore, the Sixers. But see, the Sixers and the Phillies have been the same. Maybe like the Eagles, the Phillies need to get slapped in the face 1 year to come back and win it all when everybody is doubting them. Maybe. And maybe they will come into the regular season with a different approach and mindset. And we will be able to tell very early on if that's what it is. We'll see. But right now, on 2 days before opening day, I'm not ready to label them World Series champions. I'm not ready to label them World Series contenders. I'm willing to label them a 90-95 win team. And that is it, which means nothing in the grand scheme of things. The fan of me will watch, support, and inevitably cry once we win or lose. But deep down inside, I know we will lose. Yeah. I don't know that we will lose. History is telling me, Marshawn, that they will lose. That's all. And I go off of history before the season starts. You know, good. Nobody's unhappy. See, the thing is, I think Rick's unhappy because Rick is tricking himself into believing one thing. That's it, which he knows deep down inside is probably not true. I worry about the Phillies when I see what impact the 162-game schedule has on the performance on this team and what it looks like then. Yeah, baseball's a long season. What are you, some kind of motivational speaker? This is Philly. When our moms went into labor, we knew the doctor would have hands like this. Oh, man. Eagles had the best point differential in playoff history, and the number one defense and the best rushing attack ever. They are nothing like this Phillies team. It's true. Rick, you're trolling. It's got to be. Why do I have to be thankful that we're not Pittsburgh? I can't want more. I can't want, because we're not the Pirates or the Marlins, I can't expect and want more. This is even worse of a comment. We should demand excellence from our teams and be allowed to criticize them when they don't deliver. We spend our hard-earned money, time, and energy supporting these teams. We should be allowed to demand excellence. And the Phillies don't put out excellence in the playoffs. The slapping from the Mets wasn't enough. They need to get slapped more. Yeah. Phil almost dropped the homer card. I almost did, but I didn't. I didn't want to call him a delusional Eagles fan, but I almost did. We've been the Pirates for about 100 years of our existence. We are the most losingest franchise in the history of sports. No team in any sport in the history of the world, even on Mars. All right, I called my man up on Mars. No team on Mars has lost as many sporting event games as the Philadelphia Phillies have. But because they're winning a lot of regular season games now, we have to accept it and be, cool. No. Somebody had an article preaching positive vibes. No. Somebody had an article calling us negative. He did not preach positivity in his article. He said in his article, X, Y, and Z, yeah, they might be a problem. But the problem is the fans being negative. All right? That's what the article is about. And that's why I've got problems with the article. Because that article is exactly what this show's about. Questioning is not being negative. Negative would be me coming on this show saying the Phillies suck and the Phillies are going to lose and not make the playoffs. That would be negative. The Bryce Harper's overpaid, this and that. That would be negative. Me, I'm questioning whether this team's good enough to get the ultimate goal, which is a championship. Participation trophies. I hate participation trophies. The participation trophy era is ruining America. He's not wrong. Y'all are major league. No, we're not. We're going to, every time, I can avoid these comments that you keep posting up, but you know what? I'm not. I'm going to address every time you say we're negative. I'm going to tell you wrong. You're wrong because we are. You are. We should always want more. Imagine sitting through the process and the result is one generational talent in Joel Embiid, but it's comical, Marshawn, how critical we've been of the Sixers for falling short the last 5, 8, 10 years. But we can't be critical of the Phillies doing the same exact thing. If anything, the Phillies falling short of the last couple of years is even more of an atrocity than the Sixers. The Phillies have more talent. The Phillies have stayed relatively healthy. The Phillies' best player hasn't gotten hurt every single year. And we've still fallen short, and we're still not allowed to criticize them. Phil, did you have a Phillies preview episode? Thursday, Dylan Davis, DSM Media, will be joining me. The whole Thursday episode, we're going to do stat predictions, record predictions, X, Y, and Z, all of that. So me and Dylan Davis, final season preview will be Thursday morning. There will be no trend in the AM tomorrow. Got a big catering order. Just got emailed to me overnight. So I got to go in really, really early tomorrow morning. But Thursday is the Phillies preview episode. We are going to do 90 minutes of preview. What the lineup should look like. Win, losses, everything. We're going to go player by player. Phillies did make changes. They added Max Kepler, and they added Luzardo. And I said it, Luzardo was a great addition, underrated addition. They still have the same bad hitters at the top of the order. We're still going with Kyle Schwarber in the leadoff spot, more than you realize. The bullpen is questionable, massively questionable. They've got a top 3 or 4 starting rotation in baseball, and they got the same lineup, adding in Kepler, that has fallen short in the playoffs for 3 straight years. Ranger Suarez might be cooked, honestly. And I suggested this last year at one point, that Ranger Suarez should be going to the bullpen. We know he can pitch out of the bullpen. He has done that before. Ranger Suarez is an injury concern always. It has been since he was in the minor leagues. We love Ranger Suarez for his playoff run in 2022. But realistically speaking, Ranger Suarez, he's not as good as he was in that first half of the season last year. He's not as bad as he was in the second half, but he's somewhere in between. Ranger Suarez is a nice guy, a nice pitcher, but that back issue is going to continue to creep up all the time. You might be better off making him a bullpen arm and conserving his body for the long haul. While we're talking Phillies, a shameless plug, obviously, yes. I always say, well, I guess I'm not doing a show tomorrow, so I can't plug it. Yes, we got Scott Fransky and some guy in a red shirt live from Fox's Pizza on Philly Press Box Radio tomorrow night, 7 p.m. By the way, Chet, if you haven't interviewed him yet, just remind Scott Fransky how much this morning show host is an absolute fan of his work and with Larry Anderson. Love Scott Fransky, love Larry Anderson. Probably the best duo since Harry Cowles and Ashburn on the mics. The value going out the window. Look, work pays the bills. A guy that's here all the time, just like you. Positivity is like respect currency. It is earned, not granted. I love this. I don't smile big for the class. Yeah. Look, I don't know about the last part of it. Positivity is like respect currency. It is earned, not granted. I love this. This is the comment of the day. And what have the Phillies earned? What have the Phillies earned? A lot of regular season wins. And guess what? I'm overly positive that this Phillies team will win a lot of regular season games. And that's it. That's where it stops. That's where it stops. Preaching negativity spreads like poison in water. It's ridiculous that the season is 2 days away and this kind of venom and negative. No, not at all. Zero negativity here. 100% realistic opinions. Realism. Honesty. This is an honesty episode. Rick, you got to be honest with yourself. There ain't no honesty in just saying, sure, the Phillies are going to win because, why not? No, it's not what it is. Not at all. The Phillies have earned our criticism. They have. They have. Criticism and honesty and realism is not negative. Negativity would be me standing on this or sitting here in front of this mic saying, the Phillies suck. They're awful. They're terrible. That's negativity. Rob Thomson's a bum. Bryce Harper's an overpaid child. That would be negativity that Rick claims we have. No. I'm questioning whether the lineup is going to hit in the playoffs. I'm questioning whether Rob Thomson's bullpen management will survive in the playoffs again. Questioning. Did I see what Jamie Tart? I don't even know who Jamie Tart is off the top of my head. Ever wonder why we're labeled Negadelphians? Because no, it's wrong that we're labeled negative. Because we're honest and critical, we're labeled negative. That's wrong. And let me tell you something. Every fan base has negative fans. There's Cowboys fans that are 10 times more miserable than us. There's Giants fans that are miserable. There's Knicks fans that are miserable. There's Lakers fans that are miserable. There's Bulls fans that are negative. There's Rangers fans that are negative. Yankees fans that are. Every fan base has a negative group. This group right here that's talking is being realist. I don't even think the Pittsburgh Pirates know they have a baseball team anymore. Just so you know. And I'm not a Pittsburgh Pirate fan. I could care less about the Pittsburgh Pirates. I could care less about their losing franchise. That's not my team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. My team is the Philadelphia Phillies. I won a World Series championship this year. I've put in the heart and sweat and love and tears and everything else. I deserve to be able to cheer on my team. I just don't think they can do it. Are you willing to bet the house on them winning it all? Is it negative or doubtfulness based on previous data? It's using previous data to come to a conclusion, Big Al. That's all it is. And every year's different. I know 2025 is not 2024. But until they show me what they can do in 2025 is different than 2024, I'm going to think they're going to do the same thing. John Middleton gets my positivity. Everyone should be an owner trying as hard as that dude. Well, if he was really honest and positive, he would just buy out that Taiwan Walker contract, but I guess that's too much for him. Rick, I get nothing but love for you, brother, but being a Philly sports isn't for everyone. We are not peachy. We boo and speak our mind. We're passionate, Marshawn. We're passionate. We care. I'd rather be passionate and care and speak my mind than be a lazy-ass Pirates fan that he keeps bringing up that doesn't care if their team wins or loses. I'd rather that 100 times. It's not negative Debbie Downer. I don't know what words I could do or say to you to make you realize this is just the way we are. We're honest, not negative, honest. If you want to call honesty negative, then that means you're lying to yourself. And I've been a Philly fan. My first Phillies game was in 1986. Sat in my neighbor's club box. It was against the Mets. Right there on the field, not the club box, the little fenced-off box along the field on the first baseline of a Phillies-Mets game in 1986. They gave out a little wristwatch to kids 12 and under. And thing broke in 30 minutes. I know exactly what it is to be a Philly fan and what to be a Phillies fan. We just won a Super Bowl. Yeah, exactly. So that set the bar even higher. It set the bar even higher, Rick. Winning a Super Bowl for the Eagles does not mean the Phillies don't have to win the World Series. So you're saying because we won the Super Bowl, cool. Everything else is cake. Who cares if the Sixers suck ass? Who cares if the Phillies lose in the second round again? Because Eagles won the Super Bowl, so it don't matter. It does. It matters even more. More. Phil, you think the Yankees win it this year? I don't know. Could be I mean, Garrett Cole being out for the year is a probable no. Or it's definitely going to hurt them for sure. I think the Dodgers are a team to beat. Look, the Phillies could be in it. They really could be. They've got the talent. I'm not just going to sit here and predict it, though. That's all I'm saying. But the Yankees are right there, one of those top 5 teams that have a chance. Yeah, Garrett Cole had Tommy John surgery, or they announced he had to have Tommy John surgery like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if they've done the surgery or not, but his arm shot and he had Tommy John surgery. So at least I read that online. The Eagles Super Bowl means nothing to Phillies World Series hopes. Exactly. 2 totally different sports teams. You're talking about the most losingest sports team in the history of the universe. The multiverse. I bet you we went on Earth 664. There wouldn't be a team that lost as much as this Philadelphia Phillies team. All we want. One of the original 8 baseball teams. And we've got 2 World Series. But because the Pirates suck, we're supposed to be positive the Phillies win a lot of regular season games. Get the fuck out of here with that. You want to say that it's not Rob Thomson's fault because the hitters suck. Wasn't that the manager's job? At the very least, they should have fired the hitting coach. But no, you can't fire Kevin Long. Well, because he's friends with Juan Soto, and that might have helped us get him. Or that might have helped keep Bryce Harper happy. Who cares? This Phillies team is too much about everybody being friends and being cool with each other, and not enough about accountability. Have we heard one player speak up about the failures of the playoffs last year and why they weren't accountable? No. Just lay out the evidence for the assertion there. Most of you all are lying to yourselves if you think you ain't Negadelphians. Go smoke. Sure. I mean, if I didn't have to go to work, I would. I'm cheerful. I got nothing to be negative about in life. Okay? And hold on. Who pissed it? I thought it smelled a little bitter, my coffee this morning. Did somebody do something to my coffee? You need to wake up. Okay? You're lying to yourself. You're setting yourself up for a frustrating summer. Well, fall. Philadelphia's Vic Fangio scolding the defense after the Super Bowl. If you know, you exactly. Why do we love Vic Fangio? Well, because of who we are. We don't see it through rose-colored glasses. We see it as it is. We call it as it is. And what it is just being good isn't good enough. We want greatness. We strive for greatness in our everyday lives. I strive to be the best pizza shop guy, the best beer drinker, the best podcaster, the best husband, the best dog dad. I strive to be the best of everything. Now, I fail a lot. The Phillies just haven't done it yet. I'm gonna cheer on Rick, and I'll admit I'm wrong. Marshawn, you know me. I'm always willing to admit my mistakes and flaws. I'm also willing to pat myself on the back when I get it right. I don't see it now. I don't see it. I live in Toronto, and the Blue Jays have not won shit since '93. Now Vlad Jr. is leaving at the end of the year. Yeah, somebody asked me about that the other day, and I'm like, I don't know enough about what's going on with the Blue Jays. Negadelphians meeting place right here. Cheer up, y'all. Yeah, right, whatever. Yeah, you can be optimistic, and I can agree. You're being optimistic. But see, the thing is, you got to agree, I'm not being negative. I'm being real. You might be being overly optimistic. I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic. Huge difference. What's up, Tyrese? How you doing, my man? Hope you are well this morning. Glad to see you check in. I feel if Painter can be what we think. See, now here's something really interesting. This is something that could spark the team. And Tyrese is bringing up a great point. Andrew Painter, when he comes up, and I hope everyone's hitting that like button and that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. I really want to get to 500 subscribers by the end of as soon as possible, maybe by the end of the month. Can Andrew Painter, when he gets called up, he will get called up, when he gets called up in, say, I don't know, July, will that extra juice that the young stud brings up make a difference? And maybe. We don't have that young stud. Like the Eagles have young studs all over their team. Can Andrew Painter be that stud that changes the mojo, the vibes of this Phillies team? I already said it. Andrew Painter's first start at Citizens Bank Park will be the highest ticket sold price-wise this year in the regular season. And Andrew Painter's first game, if it's on the road, will be the highest televised game of the year Phillies-wise, broadcast ratings-wise. Andrew Painter's the real deal. And I'm pumped for that. And maybe that's the kind of spark that this team needs, a young, hungry player. It's a good one. I like that, Tyrese. Lay out the evidence for the opinion is all. If there is more evidence for the Phillies than all 30-plus other teams, then maybe it will resonate. What evidence? Yeah, exactly. What evidence are they going to win? What's up, Bruce Bryce Harper? Thank you. Painter could be the big difference. He really legitly could. Because then what you do when Painter comes up, that Taijuan Walker goes away, Ranger Suarez goes to the bullpen, Andrew Painter's your fifth starter. But also he brings a little extra juice to the clubhouse. He is supposed to play this year. They've delayed he could have been ready. They are going to put him on an innings limit. He didn't even play in spring training. Dave Dombrowski said yesterday or 2 days ago that he's starting extended spring training this upcoming week. The goal is to have him ready into the majors by July. They haven't set his exact innings expectations. I would expect it to be 120 innings maybe that they'll limit him to this year. So you want to extend him as close to, if not into the playoffs as possible, if he's as good as we say he is. And I hope he is as good. I hope he's going to be a dominant force. Somebody said that he's going to be the next Zach Wheeler. I'm like, there's a lot worse comparisons than that. I feel Painter will be a superstar and our fans will love him. I agree. Andrew Painter is going to be a stud as long as he stays healthy. Yeah, July. I'm expecting mid-July. I just randomly wrote down the other day in my predictions, July 15th. That was just my prediction. We expect greatness to us. I know. I mean, we're so bad because we expect greatness. I wish I could go to that game when Painter. Who knows when it's going to be? But let me tell you something. When that game comes, I would be shocked if it's at the highest secondary market ticket prices of the entire season. It's going to be playoff dollar tickets to go see Andrew Painter's Major League debut if it's in Philly. I mean, he could be better than Skeens. We have to wait and see that, but he projects out to be at least as good. Rojas hitting the other way. Alvarado losing 50 pounds. Painter somehow skipping Mets Zach Wheeler and jumping straight to Phil's Wheeler. Stott's healed elbow. Those are my four hopes. So we'll go in order. Rojas hitting the other way. I'm not a huge Rojas fan. I think he's okay. I don't think he's anything special. Hitting the other way will help. Alvarado losing 50 pounds. If he can stay healthy, I could see Alvarado being an all-star, but also being a scary dominant closer. But it's health and weight and stuff like that with him. And the mental. Sometimes he gets a little crazy up here. But I like that. I think Alvarado is poised to have a great season. Painter, it's Painter. Stott's healed elbow. That's my biggest hope. If Bryson Stott could be the player we thought he was going to be last year, 280, maybe better, hit 18 home runs, driving 75 runs, have 150 hits, then that would be a major win for the Phillies lineup. Stott's my biggest hope, I guess is the word. Guy that could turn around from last season and have a major impact, because realistically, he's our youngest regular everyday player with the most hope still. Everybody else in our regular rotation is either what they are or, already stars or on the second half of their career. Bohm's already pushing 30. I think he's 29, I think. Stott's still young enough. He's the only actual member of the daycare left. Can't even afford a ticket. Yeah, no, trust me. Trust me. Going to a baseball game, Bruce, it ain't cheap. Even if you get the tickets cheap, even if you get the tickets free, between parking, concessions, and everything else, a day out for two people at a ballpark without the tickets is $200, $150. It's an expensive day out. Painter starts around my 7/12 birthday. That would be a great happy birthday. I'm going to the Outer Banks for the 4th of July, like the 29th to like the 5th or something like that. As long as it's not that week where I won't get the NBC Sports Philly, as long as I'm home so I can watch the game, I guarantee I'm going to do at least one Phillies live stream every week. You better guarantee I'll be live streaming the night of Painter's debut. But it can't be when we're at the Outer Banks. So that's all there is to that. Guys, you're watching Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit that share button, and please, please, please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube page. And those of you, most of you that have already hit subscribe, please just click that share button. It'll pop up with all the different places you can share it. Just click it. It's a couple clicks. It's free to do. I can only grow this channel with your support. So I'd greatly appreciate each and every one of you doing your part and hitting that like and subscribe button and that share button for me. It means the world to me. Programming notes tonight, 6 p.m., Fairway to Heaven. We got Josh Siegel from Inside Sports Network joining us to break down this week's the Texas Children's Houston Open. We also got tomorrow, Philly Press Box Radio, 7 p.m. Myself and Scott Fransky will be joining Chet and Bill Furman on the show. No Trending in the AM tomorrow morning, but I'll be back Thursday morning with Dylan Davis for my official preview. And I already got my official predictions written down. Not giving them out. But I got them written down. But that's the programming notes for this week. That's what we got on tap this week. But again, we can only grow this channel with your support. Also, stay tuned for my shorts on the channel. I pumped out 3 shorts yesterday, including day 1 yesterday and day 2 today of me calling out Josh Harris until he fires Daryl Morey. It's going to be a regular thing. It's probably going to go on for like 30 or 40 days, but we'll see how that goes. We have all the offensive firepower we need. So when we add Painter, nothing can stop us other than ourselves. We have all the offensive firepower for the regular season. No one's doubting, Tyrese, the Phillies are going to win 90 or more games. Nobody. I don't think one of us Negadelphians, as we're so called, thinks the Phillies aren't going to win 90 or more games. The problem is this offensive firepower has fallen flat, has been put out in the playoffs for 2 straight years. And that's not good enough. We're not here to win regular season games. We're here to win a World Series. I've had enough of almost with the Phillies and the Sixers. I want the Phillies team to be more like the Eagles. But they're not. Realism. Negadelphian. It is what it is. And here's the thing. I like to think in my big egotistical head that Kevin Kincaid wrote the article about me, but he did not write the article about me. He wrote the article because of the poll that WWWIP morning show put out yesterday, which was, is Rob Thomson on the hot seat this year? And because the season hasn't started, we shouldn't be talking about that. The same people that talked all offseason and started this year for the Eagles that Nick Sirianni was on the hot seat. Why isn't Rob Thomson on the hot seat? Why is it so awful to say that Rob Thomson has to win this year? What's the level that Rob Thomson has to achieve this year to be safe? In my opinion, anything short of a World Series appearance, you got to move on from Rob Thomson. Winning 92 games and getting knocked out in the NLCS is not good enough and should result in a Rob Thomson fire. Call me a hater, whatever. 93 Phils, in my opinion, were actually predictable. And I remember people laughing at me when I said they would make the NLCS that year. I don't remember. I mean, I was 13 during that run. I don't remember what I was telling people at that point. I do know it was one hell of a summer of fun in the Stiefel household, growing up in Seacane, Pennsylvania, playing baseball in the backyard, going to games, going to South Avenue, North Avenue Field. I remember the summer of 93. I just don't remember what I was telling people before that season. I feel it might be good if we added a player who mainly wants to get on base. Absolutely. 1,000%, Bruce. We got 9 of the exact same hitters in our lineup. That's not how you win in the playoffs. Well, Ron, I don't know who Ron Thomson is. Is that the evil twin brother of Rob Thomson, the Phillies manager? No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just kidding with you. I think Rob Thompson's a nice guy, a great guy, a guy I would love to have a beer with and talk baseball with. But Rob Thomson, the leader, the manager, doesn't know how to push the team. He lets the team be content. You've got to push them over the hump. And he doesn't do it because he's afraid to upset his buddies. He's the drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. Boo! Yeah. Look, again, just being realistic. If it was Schilling and Inky, I didn't see coming, but most of the rest of the team was predictable. I actually had pretty high hopes as a kid of Schilling when we got him from Houston. Pete Incaviglia, I had no clue was going to produce like he did in 93. I don't even think the Phillies thought that Pete Incaviglia was going to produce like that. But let me tell you something. You put enough steroids in anybody, they can produce, I guess. I guess so. Phil is a flip-flopper about the Sixers. What? Again, not flip-flopping. My opinions evolve over time. Okay? That's what I like to say. And you missed it, Mitchie Poo. I almost said delusional Philly fans on this show. Almost. But I held back. I am not a flip-flopper, and I'm not a Negadelphian. I'm a man that has an opinion that evolves with more data. As the more data rolls in, the more my opinion evolves. And I'm a realist, not a negative. It's plain and simple. That is what I am. And I think more people need to be like that. You've missed a doozy, Mitchie Poo. The first hour of this show has been an entire rant. I've done 55 minutes of ranting on this show. Plain and simple. That's all I've done is rant on this show and rant some more. Because I hate being labeled. Well, I don't hate it. I hate that we are labeled negative fans. I hate it. Labeling us negative because we hold our sports teams to a higher level. The same people that are negative and critical of the Sixers for falling short are the same people telling us that we can't be negative about this Phillies team because the season hasn't started yet. The same people that called for Nick Sirianni's head after last season are the same people saying you can't question whether Rob Thomson is on the hot seat this year. It's a pathetic situation. It's weird to me why the Phillies are held in such a different light than any of the other teams. There's more criticism that's allowed of the Flyers than the Phillies. And about a tenth of the amount of people in Philadelphia watch the Flyers and the Phillies. Luzardo could come. Luzardo's an interesting pickup to me. I think Luzardo is already the fourth best pitcher on this team. Luzardo's going to surprise people. I remember him pitching against the Phillies a few times over the last couple of years and be very dominant against us. But again, his type of pitcher is always dominant against us. I'm very hopeful about Luzardo's potential this year with the Phillies. And again, yeah, I've already said it. Ranger Suarez needs to go to the pen. I said it last year. Needs to go to the pen. It's been an hour-long rant. My voice is actually hurting at this point. Don't forget about the Jalen Hurts haters. Exactly. There's still people hating on Jalen Hurts, and he just won the freaking Super Bowl MVP. Seriously. It's pathetic. Would you rather have scout seats behind home plate at a Phillies game or 50-yard line lower bowl at the Eagles? Phillies game tickets. Because even though I'm supposedly this Negadelphian fan, the Phillies are my true joy and true love. My first tattoo was for my dad, a Phillies/Bell Telephone tattoo on my left bicep. Okay? The Phillies are my baby. I would go to every Phillies game if I could. There's nothing better. And I've sat behind home plate. I sat row 2 behind home plate at the Vet the year before it was demolished. That was the best seats I ever had. Quite the experience back there. Oh, I was just joking. Just giving you a hard time, Tyrese. Just having fun. There's been too much negativeness in this show, supposedly. So I'm trying to make some jokes here and there. But I'm going to start calling him Rob Thomson from now on, just for you, okay? Just like we call Bruce Harper, Bryce Harper, in the chat from time to time. It's all about having fun. Sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. And we're too critical of each other and our opinions. I got into a discussion with somebody on Twitter yesterday. Life's too short for us to argue over just what our opinions are, our meaningless opinions, because we really don't know. Life's too short to argue about it. Opinions are just that, opinions. Not negative, not positive, not optimistic, not realist. Opinions are just what they are, opinions. So why argue about them? Discuss them. Tell me why you think the way you do. I'll tell you why I think I do. I think the Hurts hate is grossly over-exaggerated and stupidly recreational. That's true. That's true. What's up? Eric the Gatekeeper is here. Good morning. My true love was the Sixers, but Morey ruined my life. Well, today's day 2 of me calling out Josh Harris until he fires Daryl Morey. And I'm going to do it every day until he fires him or until he gives him the vote of confidence. And when he gives him the vote of confidence, then I'm going to call out Josh Harris to sell the team. So I'm going to do it. I hope you can call him. I'm going to start. I'm going to try to remember, Ron. I'm calling you Ron now. Would you say opinions are like everybody's got them? Exactly. We should discuss why we came to our opinion, not argue. You're wrong. Why can't we just discuss opinions? My opinion is the Phillies are a great baseball team that's not built to win a 7-game series in the playoffs because of the evidence that's been laid in front of me and in front of you. Plain and simple. I'm sorry. I did the first time I ever did it was a complete and total accident. And I kind of stuck. You're always going to be my Bryce Harper or Bryce Bruce Harper or whatever I say. I mix it up from time to time. It's all about having fun. Too many people take things way too seriously. They will 100% win more than that. They won't lose. They won't lose that many games, though. I'll tell you that. Burrow used to get a lot of hate. Pat the Bat. He got a lot of hate because he was banging everybody's wives and girlfriends in the bars down on South Street, bar bathrooms down on South Street. True story. Just so you know, not mine, but I just know from a fact that he used to go in and out of those bars with multiple girls at night. That's why everybody hated Pat the Bat, because he was the ladies' man. I mean, I bet everybody wish they were Bryce's brother. Then you'd be tapping into that financial windfall that he's got. But yeah, anyway, Pat the Bat, Burrow. That's right. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Back to what's going on. I still see as the title of this show, are the Phillies closer to Sixers disaster, Eagles title? I still think the evidence that has been presented says that they're more likely to fall apart like the Sixers than win a championship like the Eagles. And I hope I'm wrong. I think I can be wrong in this situation. But that's about it. The Sixers collapsed because they had an old aging team of stars that broke down. They were poorly led and a GM that put mixed match pieces together that didn't fit the goal of winning a title. The Phillies have an older aging team with a manager that hasn't gotten the job done, with a GM that hasn't gotten the job done. It's put together a team of mixed match pieces that don't mesh together for when it matters most. I would hope you'd get you some tickets. I would hope so. The Phillies are so close I could taste it, but I just don't feel championship energy from them. That's the other thing. Does this team, like the vibe from this team, the vibe coming out of the Eagles camp this year was nothing but seriousness and business-like. They had a goal in mind, and they were laser focused, the Eagles. The Sixers came out this season, goofballs, telling, we're ramping them up. He's still ramping up. Well, that's what the Phillies are. The Phillies have Sixers vibes, not Eagles vibes. I have not gotten one bit of vibe that this Phillies team is all business with one singular goal to win a title. The clubhouse seriously lacks a real, true leader. Yes, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, JT, they're the leaders of this team. But they don't have a real Jalen Hurts type level leader, a Jason Kelsey type leader, a Fletcher Cox type leader, a Brandon Graham type leader, a Lane Johnson type leader. They don't have a real, true leader on this team that keeps the team focused. They're more focused on what's their hand signal going to be this year, whatever their hand signals were. Every single, you got to put up a gesture. Screw that shit. I don't need bricking for chicken. I don't need dancing with my own. I don't need bedlam at the bank. What I need is business-like approach to this season. Well, yeah, nobody wants to be him, right? I don't even think Pat Mahomes wants him to be his brother. I'm glad Garrett Stubbs is back to the minors, yeah. So you got to keep Garrett Stubbs because he brings great vibes to the clubhouse. You mean he gets everybody drunk in the clubhouse? Yeah, the 93 team used to get drunk in the clubhouse every single night. But what did they do? They sat in the trainer's room, getting treatment on their injuries, talking about how they can win the next game. That's it. Smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, discussing baseball. Do you think this team sits around after the games and talks baseball? No. Garrett Stubbs brings vibes. His vibes are getting Bomer and Stottsville and Marshy drunk. And that's it. I don't need those vibes. I don't need dancing in the clubhouse. What I need is the Billy Bean. What was Brad Pitt's depiction of Billy Bean walking in the clubhouse while they're dancing after a loss, taking a baseball bat and smashing the radio? That's what this team needs. But they don't have it. The Eagles did not come out laser focused. Yes, they did. They came out with the energy. Yes, they stumbled out of the gate. But did they really stumble out of the gate? They got beat really bad by the Buccaneers. Absolutely. Nobody goes 17-0. Falcons game was one simple little drop from Saquon Barkley. It is what it is. They came out and smoked, but they beat the Packers in Brazil right out of the gate. So they did. They had a goal in mind. They were laser focused. They didn't let this little hiccup in week 4 distract them from the ultimate goal. I'm not saying laser focused in the sense of winning. I'm saying laser focused in their attitude, in their approach to the day-to-day activities. Phillies need adversity. I mean, losing in the playoffs every year should bring that adversity, but it hasn't yet. So, what kind of adversity can this Phillies team even face? I don't even know if there is adversity that this Phillies team could face. I don't know what can pull it all together. Who's going to step up to be the leader, the voice that says, yo, guys, this is not enough. We've got to do more. We've got to be more focused. I don't know who that's going to be or how that's going to happen. Are you just copy and pasting the same thing over and over again? Because that's what it feels like, Rick. And I got nothing but love and appreciation for you. But man, you're just copy and pasting the same thing over and over again. Because, again, you're blinded. Instead of being realistic about the situation with this club. That's all it is. That's fine. I get it. You love your Phillies. So do I. I want the Phillies to be great. I do. What's a wet blanket mentality? Saying that this team hasn't done the job the last 2 years? Did you say the same thing to Sixers fans before this season? When they were being critical of the Sixers? Did you say the same thing to Eagles fans that were being critical of the Eagles before the season? It's a different mentality for Phillies fans for some reason. It drives me crazy. We hold the Phillies to a different standard for some reason. Phils seem to have been very healthy come September. How much longer can that continue? I mean, the team is getting older every year. Oddly, Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola have stayed far too healthy for pitchers. I don't know. I don't want them to face adversity like that. What I want is them to be laser focused and take the season seriously. And that's it. Again, this is not negativity being spread. I guess my opinion is not allowed to be had then if it's not a positive one. If it's not optimistic like yours. I don't like being blindly optimistic. You are being blindly optimistic with no true evidence that this team can succeed in the playoffs. Because that's all this is about. The regular season is meaningless, whether they win 85 games or 95 games. As long as they make the playoffs, it's all that matters. But it's when they get to the playoffs what they do. It is not being negative. It's being realistic. I don't hate anybody. Hate's too strong. Anthony, you use the word hate too much. Don't hate people. Hate's too much of a strong word. That's what it is. And I bet you Garrett Stubbs will be back up. Because Rafael Marchand has never stayed healthy in his career. That's why he's never had an opportunity to start for a team in the Major League Baseball. He's an injured catcher. So Stubbs will be back up. I want Roy Halladay intensity from the Phillies. Yeah, give me that intensity. Give me that laser focus. I don't hate you. I don't hate anybody. He hates you, but not me. I don't hate anybody. Hate is such a strong. I hate when people use the word hate. And I just use the word hate to say that I hate when people say the word hate. Hate is such a dirty word to me. I don't hate anybody, anything outside of the use of the word hate. Because I am an uber positive person in most of my life. Sometimes I get down on myself, like I'm down on the Phillies, but hate's a strong word. I might not like you, Chipu, but I don't hate you. Hate's too strong. Anyway, look. Let me phrase it this way. Let me rephrase this in a way that Rick can answer a question to tell me why I should be blindly optimistic. Has this Phillies team learned anything from their mistakes? And why do you think they've learned anything? Because their mistakes in the years past can stay in the past. 2025 could be a different year. It's not 2024, 2023. But have they learned anything from their failures that's going to make this year different? And what do you see that they've learned that's going to make this year different? Well, they've not given me any reason to believe they haven't. not going to fail. I can't just preaching failure means that they're going to fail. Well, preaching positivity doesn't mean the Phillies are just going to be great. Just because we think they're going to be great doesn't mean it. My energy has zero effect on the outcome of the Phillies season. The only people that can affect the outcome of the Phillies season is the Philadelphia Phillies organization. You're giving the fans way too much credit for the failures and success of athletes that get paid millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. You're saying it's us that makes them fail or succeed. And that's just silly. Just silly. Straight silly. Phils were missing the stop glue like postseason at bats last year. That's what would keep the engine from stopping in the postseason in 2022. Yeah, and I'm hopeful that Stott is healthy and will be better this year. I am. I had high hopes going into last season for Bryson Stott. I really did. Nonchalant attitude rolling into the playoffs last season put a bad taste in our mouths. Yeah. And has that changed? I kind of get the same nonchalant attitude coming out of spring training from this team. It's rolled right from last offseason right into this year. I don't see no fire burning in the bellies. I don't see no fight in this team yet. They're just chilling. Yeah. It's not what I want. I don't want nonchalant attitude. I need laser-focused team that wants to win. And going to do whatever they want. And then honestly, again, I'm still asking the question, Rick. What did the Phillies learn last season? And how have they proven to you that they've learned from their mistakes? No, I don't think that has anything to do with it, Rick. And again, it's not being negative, it's being realistic. You keep calling it negative if you want, whatever. But us being negative, realistic, positive, optimistic has no outcome, no effect on the outcome of the season at all. None whatsoever. We have no effect on the season. Zero, zilch, zip. All we are here is for the ride, good or bad. Whether it's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or It's a Small World. Whether it's Space Mountain or Splash Mountain. We're just for the ride. And to me, the ride is going to be great in the regular season. But I do not think the Phillies have learned from their mistakes because they haven't shown me that. The big question is what players are going to come up big for a future paycheck? Well, there are two big players on this team that have big paychecks coming up in the offseason. It's a fair point. But will they produce? Did they do it? I'm not a Disney guy. Used to be. Loved it when I was a kid when it first opened. Didn't even know till you posted the other day on your Disney pics that they closed it. Had no clue. Not really a Disney guy. I don't do crowds in my old age. I hate crowds. Yeah. It looked like you had a blast in Disney, though, Rick, or Chet. If you think the negative vibes have no effect on our teams, then explain to me why the city has been drenched with so much losing and failures. There's no negative vibes in Pittsburgh, and they've been drenched with losing and failures. The Marlins have been drenched with losing and failures. There ain't no negative vibes because nobody cares about them. The Braves had all that success, all positive. There was no positivity that carried them to that success in the early 90s because nobody watched them or cared. The fans' attitude has nothing to do with it. Okay, you were talking about the Pirates, not the Steelers. Okay, and when was the last time the Steelers won a ring? It's been a minute. Okay, I love Disney so much. I took the kids 2 years ago, and it was amazing. For the price, it just ain't worth it anymore. I mean, I went a lot when I was a kid. My dad used to take us every summer for like 7, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. I don't know. My parents had their honeymoon there in Disney like 2 weeks after it opened for the first time in 1972. So we were growing up big Disney family. Went for a day when we were in Florida recently, like a few years ago. And yeah, it was one of the busier days of the year. And it was just so miserable because there were so many people there. It was just too crowded for me. I got to go. I think I got to go during an off-peak time sometime, maybe to get my love back of it. Rick's going to butterfly affect your ass, and we are going to like it. He can. I can't wait till he tells me I'm wrong in October, because that means I'm going to be World Series champion. My passion is being mistaken for negativeness. Braves have done a ton of winning. But I'm talking about early 90s, where the fans haven't, there ain't no such thing as an Atlanta Braves fan, first and foremost. Atlanta Braves are one of the most boring fan bases in baseball. They're not cheering or booing their team, and they win a lot. It's a tough one. Definitely Disney on a slower day. It's neck and neck on a busy Disney day. Penguins have won 5, and Steelers, yeah, I know, it's too many. Pittsburgh, for such a boring-ass fan base, they win. And the fans aren't carrying them to those titles. But you don't look like a beacon of light to me. Because you're misunderstanding our criticism for miserable and negative. Are questioning the norm for negativeness. And all you're doing is making yourselves look exactly like us supposed negative fans by being blindly optimistic. So you think you're telling one side of a story, but really what you're doing, you're telling the same story from a different perspective. And you don't understand that. I'll do my best to help Phil improve his attitude when he visits Philly Press Box Radio. Look, I love the Phillies, chat. I love them. Do. I just don't see it yet. They haven't done anything yet. I'm the only positive energy in this chat. I'm positive. I'm going to work in a little bit here. That's not positive. Braves are pathetic chokers. Their only World Series in the last 35 years was garbage COVID. Look, whatever. I'm talking about the fan bases because Rick wants to say the fan bases can have an effect. Rick equals positive Percy. I don't know what positive Percy even is. So, yeah. Anyway. Again, refreshing STT Sports Network schedule over the next couple of days. Tonight, 6 p.m., Texas Children's Houston Open. We got Josh Siegel from Insider Sports Network joining the crew tonight, breaking down this event. We're 2 weeks away from the Masters, guys. So golf season's heating up. Tomorrow, no trending in the AM, but I'll be live with Chet on Philly Press Box Radio at 7 o'clock right here on this channel, live from the pizza shop. I'll be doing that from the Fox's Pizza, making my wife work while I talk sports. Let's see what else is going on. And Thursday, Dylan Davis, our official preview show, where I will give my prediction, where I will give my record at stats, final vibes. We're going to break it all down with Dylan Davis. We're going to go all into it with Dylan Davis, DSM Media. We're going to have fun. I will have some homerism in some of my predictions for sure. Well, you're taking jabs at us. You take jabs at us and call us negatives. So we can't call you optimistic. I see, it's got to be a two-way street, Rick. That's right. Especially if you haven't already. There should be at least 20 likes on this video. I'm sure there's not. But there should be at least 20 likes on this video. I wish there was more than 476 subscribers. Please subscribe. Please go find me 5 people. Rick, I will be the most positive person in the world tomorrow if this channel got to 500 subscribers. I would change my tune in a heartbeat just for you. Hey, whatever. I don't know much about Star Trek, so I don't know about this dark force and stuff you're talking about, or that every action has a reaction unless acted upon by an outside force. Yeah. I remember the 80s when every man had 32-inch wrist and a Tom Selleck mustache, the good old days. Should I go Tom Selleck mustache? What would I look like if I shaved off the beard but left the mustache? I think my wife would get really pissed off if I did that, though. I'll rock a mustache. Here's the goal. Here's the deal. How many subscribers will it take for me, in what time frame, for me to shave the beard and go mustache only. Mustache Mountain here. How many subscribers would I need in what time frame to piss my wife off with the mustache look? That's an interesting question. I don't have an answer for that yet. Just trying to imagine myself with just a mustache is weird. You know what I could do? If it gets a certain thing, I will shave the beard, but I'll leave the sideburns into the mustache. I'll go with that look right there. I'll go with that look for a certain amount of subscribers. I don't know. Interesting. If Phil wins it, Phil owes Rick a year's worth of in-person pizza. I don't think Rick would make it out to my pizza shop, but sure. Sure. I'll give him all the pizza he wants. There doesn't exist any. Social media didn't exist the last time I had no beard. It's been 20 years since I haven't had facial hair. But I'm kind of digging the whole sideburns into the mustache idea. But we got to get this channel booming and quickly for that to happen. Chad, I'll let you come to the pizza shop and shave my beard if I hit a certain number of subscribers in a certain time frame. You can leave whatever you want, the mustache, the sideburns, whatever. Take it all off. But there's got to be a goal set for that. We can do it live. We can shave the beard live on Philly Press Box Radio for the right number. Just got to come up with that right number. Maybe. 31 subscribers and 31. That's it. That's not much. That's nothing. It's got to be. It's like if 31 subscribers is the only thing, then that's got to be done in like 2 days. 31 days, there better be like 200 subscribers. Dude, this is a big thing. Shaving my facial hair is a big deal, okay? Hasn't happened since 2004, where I had the 2-week job with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the worst job I ever had in my life. That was the only time since I graduated high school that I didn't have facial hair. And I regretted it the second I shaved it off for that job. Then I went to the job hating the job because they made me shave my beard. Plus, the job sucked ass. Sorry to anybody. I know Mark's a former Enterprise employee and loves his Enterprise, but no. It's got to be so much more than 31 subscribers in 31 days for me to go mutton chops, okay? There, you have his 2004 subs. I would love 2004 subs. I would do whatever. I'd shave the eyebrows off if you got me in 31 days, 2004 subscribers. I would do it all. You can shave anything live on the air. Mutton chops were awful, yeah. They were. But I'll go with mutton chops for the right price. I'm buyable. Hell, I'll let whoever does the work even change my name online. Whatever. Yes, actually. I have a very big baby face, first and foremost. I got a major overbite that's hidden by the beard. So, yeah, I'm very self-conscious about my looks. I do not have a face for radio or TV. I got a face for radio, all right? Just so you know. All right, guys, we got to start the wrap-up process here. You guys come up with the plan, and we'll enact it. If you want to see me embarrassed and miserable, that's shaving my facial hair. So you got to get those numbers up for that. Mitch, what's 100 to 31? 100 minus 31. Oh, childish. Don't instigate, Nooms. Don't instigate Mitchie Poo like that. All right, guys. Process is over today. The negativity is over for the day. Thursday will be overly positive because, yeah, it's the day the season starts. There's always positivity. But anyway, with that being said, guys, we got to wrap it up. Please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell one, tell the guy in front of you at Wawa today when you go get your coffee to subscribe to the STT Sports Network. I greatly appreciate it, guys. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Morning-wise, I'll see you on Thursday. See you tonight at 6 p.m. for Fairway to Heaven. See you tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for Philly Press Box Radio. Everybody have a great night. Go Birds. Bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 pop.